Hey, it's Joseph here. Recently, I have unboxed P65 Creator laptop that MSI have sent me to review. And now that I have spent some time with the laptop, I would like to fill you on what I thought about this laptop. Whilst I was provided with this laptop for review, I was not told what to say. Therefore, here are my very honest opinions about this laptop based on my experience. As I did some research, it was quite apparent that this laptop was not necessarily a new kid on the block. Rather, it was actually a improved version of last gen P65. P65 is part of content creation series of MSI, which are the hardwares that are meant for creative professionals, which includes the content creators and graphic designers and photographers are the main targets of users. But I also feel architectural designers, engineers, 3D modelers, and product designers who share the same space of creativity requiring powerful tech would also benefit from caliber of this hardware. Within the content creation lineup, there is desktop and monitor and the laptops. And by the way, I also got my hands on Prestige monitor, which is right here. You see the little corner of it. So I'll be reviewing that in a very near future. Okay, so onto the laptop again. First of all, let me list all the specification of this specific unit that I have. I suppose I'll show the specification on either side of the screen. I don't really know, but I do know that there are different configuration that is available for this specific laptop. So depending on your budget, you can decide to go either upper or lower from this specific spec. Since my daily tasks really depend on GPU, I would heavily rely on graphics card performance, so I would invest a bit more on that if I am given choice. But CPU seems to be good enough with i7 of 9th gen, so I think I would stay with that rather than going for i9, which I wouldn't benefit as much. And the price difference between this unit and the next one up is about $1,000, so I would actually go for this if it was up to me. And a laptop with this much spec at $1,899 is pretty compelling proposition. So enough with the spec, let's go over the form factor. As this is a 15.6 inch laptop, it is not really small nor really big, so it is sort of a mid-sized laptop. An overall metal build adds weight to the unit and adds sort of the solid feel of the unit. Personally, if I'm given choice, I would take 13 inch over 15 all the time, but the 13 inch laptops do not have sort of the performance that this laptop would give you, so I would have to kind of suck it up and carry around these 15-inch laptops. But compared to my other 15-inch laptops, this is really not that big, although the screen size is 15.6 inches. And that is achieved by having very thin bezels, which I really appreciate. So you can see the very thin bezel right here on the sides and also the top. Therefore, it makes up a very large screen but also very small laptop of form factor. And unlike the other laptop, namely Surface Book 2 that I have, this is more of traditional clamshell type of laptop, so it doesn't have sort of the touch capabilities or pen capabilities, but it can hold itself quite well with the strong hinge. It doesn't have as much weight onto the screen, so it is easily lappable. So people who prefer more of a traditional clamshell type of laptop would definitely prefer this over other type of all-in-ones or the weird hinge designs of Surface Pro. And speaking of clamshell, the hinges are quite well engineered, so they do feel sturdy, and I can lift up the screen with one finger without lifting the bottom of it. So it is quite well weighted, and the screen flex is quite minimum, and it does feel quite solid every time you just kind of open up your laptop or close. And you can also open up your hinge all the way to almost 180 degrees. And every time I use a laptop, there's always sort of a situation where I'm just needing a slight more angle on the screen for that perfect working angle. Either I'm on the plane where it's sort of tight corner, or I'm working on my sofa and just kind of angling down but I want my monitor to just kind of go just a tad bit more. That always happens to me. So being able to lower down the screen really far down will definitely come in handy in those situations. Since we're talking about the screen, so let's just talk about the screen. I should really turn it on so you can kind of see the screen as well. As a creative professional, having a color accurate monitor with a lot of pixels to work with is definitely a plus. And the claimed 100% of Adobe RGB seems to be true because this is a stunning display. Just kind of googled nice image to show on the screen where I can kind of appreciate amount of pixels and the details that I can pick out from the image. Although the camera is probably not doing its justice, but the colors and the pixels are looking incredibly good. And as I do renderings very often, accurate colors are quite crucial, and its 4K screen allows to show a lot of information at the same time. The lines and text are so crisp. It is almost satisfying to just look at them. Once you have been exposed to high pixel density monitors or screens like this, it is really dreadful just going back to the normal monitors. And as you might have noticed, I really appreciate sort of the anti-glare that this screen has. You see very little amount of reflection, even if I'm directly reflecting the light onto you. And this really helps to see everything clearly, and there's not going to be much of reflection that are going to hurt your eyes in a brightly lit conditions. And they also advertise IPS level display, which means it allows you to have a very wide viewing angle. So even if you look at the screen from the side, there's almost zero color shifting even if you're looking at it from the side versus straight on. And that makes judging the colors that much easier and accurate. And as you saw, it seems to deliver what they have claimed. So moving on to the ports of this laptop. I have to tell you, I really enjoyed the amount of ports that this laptop has. And the difficult to say Thunderbolt port that this laptop has, along with the USB-A port, it really prevents you carrying around a lot of dongles with this laptop, and full-size HDMI and mini display ports. And having a lot of USB-A port really does help, and this is basically what all the professional needs on the go. Carrying a lot of dongles just because you don't have these ports readily available for you, it's just silly. Although unfortunately I have been doing that, so this will definitely put an end to dongle carrying life. But also it kind of brings up the cons of this laptop. I really appreciate the laptops that can take power delivery, meaning I can just connect USB-C and then have it charged. However, this only charges via the barrel plug here, and you have to carry the included charger. And to be fair, I did try charging it via USB-C or Thunderbolt port, and as you can see here, this is supposedly that has power delivery of 60 watts, but it will not charge even if I connect this. I would have appreciated if it would charge even at a slower rate, because I do understand RTX 2060 requires a lot of power to perform, but I'm not using RTX 2060 all the time, so I would have appreciated even if it slowly drained the battery if I am pushing it just a bit too hard. But that would at least prevent me going basically 0% of battery on the go. Otherwise, I have to carry around relatively bulky charger all the time, whereas I could have opted for something a lot smaller for power delivery and USB-C port. I don't mind carrying this charger onto a presentation I know I'm gonna be using a lot of graphics horsepower, but I don't want to carry around this charger all the time at work, set it up, put it in my bag, come back home, at work, set it up, put it in at work, set it up, put it in. It is just a bit too much of a hassle to do with this charger. And another con that I have is the fact that it is missing out SD card reader. This one doesn't really matter for me as I don't really need to access my SD card reader all the time, but those of you who are regularly accessing SD cards might come in handy if you had an SD card reader. Or sometimes you see those micro SD card reader which you can just use it as a storage expansion, but this laptop does not offer those. Anyways, moving on to the keyboard part of this laptop. I must say I'm not really that picky when it comes to keyboard, but everything seems to be very comfortable. And the sound is not annoying or anything like that, and it has good amount of key travel, but I can at least tell you this is a chiclet style keycaps and they do feel comfortable, and all the keys are arranged in a way that I would expect. There are page up and down on the side and a delete key on the corner, which is expected. The only odd bit that I have found was the full-size arrow keys on the corner, where the up arrow key is tucked on the right side of the shift key, but I'm sure over time you can kind of get used to that sort of configuration. And since whilst we are looking at this angle, let's move on to the touchpad. As advertised, it is quite a wide touchpad. I've never seen a touchpad this wide. It is perhaps not as big as like the Apple touchpads, but for PC standard, this is quite large. And it also has a fingerprint sensor on its top left corner if you care for the security as well. However, I think the width of the touchpad is sort of the double-edged sword. Whilst using the touchpad, it is excellent. It is responsive, quite tactile, and feels solid. There's no sort of give on the touchpad, which I'm quite picky about, and multi-finger controls work quite well based on my testing. And I may be wrong, but the top surface does feel like a glass. However, the problem rises when I am actually typing. So because the touchpad is so wide, when you rest your palms on the keyboard, your right hand tends to cover the touchpad just ever so slightly, and it will start to move the cursor on your screen. And if you rest gently, it wouldn't press the touchpad, but I can certainly see accidentally just pressing a little bit too hard to cause an accidental click, and that wouldn't be so nice when you're typing or modeling, doing any sort of edits to the things that you are working on. When it comes to overall design of the laptop, I really do enjoy its sort of clean aesthetics. It's slick and clean and looking professional. It is not having RGB everywhere, just sort of flashing "I am the gamer" and "please look at me" type of laptop. Previously on my channel, I did get some comments, just people saying I don't really care for the look of the laptop, but I do care. I do want to focus on working without flashing RGBs everywhere inside of the office or the cafe that I'm working on. And in fact, I had a laptop that had sort of the rainbow RGB on all the time, and somehow, even if I try to configure to a solid color or turn it off altogether, it'll just revert to its rainbow every now and then. It just really bothers me, and I just want to be more subtle and professional looking. If you're working for a large office or having a presentation for high-end client, the last thing that you want your client to focus on is your laptop. It is about your presentation, the designs that you have done, the works that you have done, not the flash laptop that is sitting in the middle of the room. I suppose you can use that as a strategy when you want to divert your client's attention for unfinished drawings or designs of your project. Jokes aside, let's talk about something very important: the performance. I think the performance of a machine is a key in every single purchase that you make, and that is a reason why I have left this section as the last. And I am happy to report that this laptop performs really well. It just handled all the tasks that I threw at it, modeling and drawing from Revit, and it also handled very complex SketchUp models without any problem, and rendering from Enscape and Lumion, and it just rendered everything really well. It is a bit noisy when it comes to a lot of graphics tasks, but it is like that for any other laptop, even my desktop as well. So it is definitely expected to do that. And to top it all off, it also handles VR. I have done multiple VR sessions with my Oculus Quest. If you follow my channel, you might have seen unboxing of Oculus Quest that I recently purchased, and I am happy to report that I can connect connect Quest Link into this laptop and everything operates as it is expected. I don't want to spill too many things because I'm gonna make a separate Quest review video, but Quest Link requires quite a powerful machine, and this one is the only laptop that I have on my hands that can actually handle Quest Link. So I was glad that I actually had this laptop when I was trying to do VR presentation, because I cannot really carry my desktop all the time, so it was really convenient to have this laptop where I can do the VR presentation with Quest Link. And I also wanted to mention that the battery life of this laptop was pretty good. I was able to last through a flight and a meeting without having to charge this laptop, despite the fact that it has very powerful graphics card. It must be managing its power really well with the optimization. And speaking of optimization, MSI has this software called Creator Center, and here you can see the installed application or the software that you have installed onto this machine, and you can configure a few things that are specific for those softwares. So for example, I can go into Revit and turn on creator mode, and I can choose how many threads I want to use for that specific software, and whether I want to optimize the GPU performance or the memory performance, and set the priority of the application. So real time, high, above normal, normal, below normal. So depending on the priority of the softwares that you are using on the laptop, you can set the priority differently and have all of those optimized manually and expect better performance for specific softwares that you need. So if you're needing to have extra battery life, then you can set different values so that you can conserve more energy, and you can certainly go into the system monitoring mode and also system tuner, so you set things differently and also sort of monitor your battery life. You can go for best for mobility, balance, best for battery sort of thing. So a lot of those will come in handy if you're at a pinch. So overall, this tool will help you optimize your machine as per your own usage. So I found this useful, trying to dedicate the performance on the tasks that I really prioritize, versus I know I'm gonna be away from charger for a while because I don't want to carry that bulky charger, so I'm gonna conserve my battery. I was able to do that with this Creator Center here. Overall, this laptop could easily be my daily carry. It will handle everything that I would ask it to do without being obnoxiously big or heavy. The only feature that I would miss by moving away from Surface Book to this laptop would be the touch and the pen input, as I draw and comment on PDF by hand quite frequently. However, if you're another architectural designer or architect alike who appreciates the traditional clamshell laptop designs, then you would definitely appreciate this laptop. So it would be definitely worth considering as your next purchase, as it is just priced at $18.99. And for those of you who are students or to be student, this would be a good contender. If you have enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to continue watching these type of videos. And thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you in the next video. Bye.